yes to everything.
I see that with the header. Yeah.
All right, Rocky, I have to explain a little bit. I don't know if you've watched any other yes to everything rounds, but whatever question I ask you, you have to answer yes. There's no choice. You have to answer yes. So it's a critical thinking activity. And so I'm going to ask you some zany questions and you probably would rather not answer yes, but you have to stick to your guns and say yes. You got it?
No.
All right. Does being rich make you a better person?
Yes, I think being rich would make me a better person. I could be far more charitable. I could help people that need help. For instance, what Bill and Melinda Gates do. Well, now they're divorced, but they created a lot of charity and helped a lot of people with their wealth. And I feel that I'd like to follow in the footsteps. There was in the when I was younger, there was a TV show Batman, and Bruce Wayne, millionaire philanthropist. Hello.
Uh-oh. What happened?
So when I had to look up the word, and so since then, in my own way, I've given away cars, motorcycle, clothes, paid the tuition, and bought books for students that were in school with me.
Oh, round number two.
Okay.
Here's one. Is violence ever the answer?
Yes, I think violence is a lot of time. Without violence, the Jews would have been wiped off the face of the earth in World War II. Sometimes there's the concept of the better bully. If somebody is bullying somebody else, right? The better bully is the one that goes after the bully to save that other person. And and sometimes it can be with violence, right? Police use violence, though I'm not a big fan of the police, but they use violence to help others, right? To For other bullies, right? For victims of crime, they defend. Sometimes it cannot just be with words; it has to be with violence.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting that you use the example of government because the government has to deal with violent people. You know, there are mafias, there are terrorists, there are people who are not following the rules. So the government has to have a branch that's willing to fight fire with fire. And that's what I guess in America we call the CIA and things like that. But you can't fight fire with, with unicorns.
Or lollipops. No.
So you ready for the tough one today?
Okay, let's do it.
This one is always personalized because I know something about you and I know the answer is no, but you have to answer yes. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay. Can you see yourself teaching kids?
Yes, I can, with the exception that if I was only to be transported back in time when the parents weren't so involved, there was this nobody was hypersensitive or overly politically correct, where you could actually have fun. There's no weird ass self identification. He identifies himself as a cat, and so therefore we have to have a litter box in the corner of the classroom. But I would like to teach kids at least at least to have the sense of honor of not telling lies, not being somebody that would stand up for the right and stand up for the wrong and defend. There seems to be this idea of swarming and bullying that I think is just wrong, and I'd like to veer the kids away from that.
Well, I think every school could use a guy like you in it, no doubt about it. Um, like you said, I think it's safe to call you a bully buster. And schools have bullies and they need people like you to kind of restore balance for everybody.
No, I just because I when I was young, I was bullied, right? And then I decided I didn't like it, so I learned to fight. Right. So then the natural progression was I would fight for the kids that couldn't fight.
I love that. I actually talk to my students about that sometimes, and I say, if you have strength, lend your strength to people who don't have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Uh, um, I love those type of students. I remember those guys from high school who were the fighters on the hockey team. That when there was a kid from another school that came to beat up somebody, those hockey guys became like the line of defense. And I remember thinking how cool that was that our guys stuck up for our other guys.
yeah, exactly. The my childhood hero was Zorro, right?
Yeah,
Because he did defend people that couldn't defend, right? And I just he was another version of the knight errant.
right, right.
You
So this is a theme in your life. It seems to be you kind of are fascinated by the knights and those stories of chivalry and nobility and acts of heroism and things like that.
Well, yeah, it's just actually watched a film with Tony Curtis as a knight in the Black Shield of Falworth with Janet Leigh. Right,
Mhm.
it was an English knight with a Brooklyn accent. Yonder is the castle of my father.
Nice.
I just found no pretense of an English accent, but nevertheless a knight.
Cool. All right. The next portion of our podcast, Rocky, it's called improv.